ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star just na la 5 star just na mooy just na bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu doon neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la we're not all about skin we are skin care and the plus does come in so many different ways.
Oh, ini baru. Alright, okay. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, that's Yeah. What I'm doing somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Kamu jadi Grand Villa. That's right. Selamat. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically near long term very relaxed. So it's basically that I can understand. It's very relaxed. Never miss one. Media, Nena Granville is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adum na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ipela fila ila suwe taranyame. Until Grand Villa na kiliano na lafino wale mukamutin telkam. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fakalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Yes, thank you. Trust me, I love this place. You come to someone and you're watching what? Yeah. I know to come Grand Villa. I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola futama Oljintum Paradise Estate mbaya komandiro ke 7527218 wale futan na website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
domoro kadiate
boy janno sikes restaurant
sa nakko be ninna dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jam ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendil lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international otoda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
oto sa nakko be mu sikes restaurant
ndaba na janna mu yak ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda mimba Europe Mr. Conte nka bolo kol kan sai na so kono mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bolo kol kan anda ka ba office kono ba dama bulo mutarin baka ta sintila no ko mbatu ngane ta ya kuriyen ma ko dubanti na ta mano sani tulo ni jam
munda bete ni la broda man balwo service kala
mun service
balwo service
ni da koronte mo kala
munda afela broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a apu nga ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sirin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sirin office ko da daminto e do message so telephone ko no e biti ko be gambia dawda biti ko babelo ko ta tano dawda yeta tempo tawo woda ma
yara bari wa service na ta molda na ta nyo le kan fi janna bro dan ka ko ta nyo ayo ko ti ta
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya mole ana lakkanun tawul wato bela ani watu sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu ibe banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ton so balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone la no na melbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Hello, welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu. I'm Lamin Cham presenting, and as usual, I'm joined in the studio with our usual panelist, Nima Kamara. Welcome back. She was absent last week, Mustafa Davo, and our guest panelist today is Madi Jobarteh, who doesn't need any introduction now. Madi, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you.
Now, welcome everybody from wherever you are watching us. Welcome. Now, this week, of course, the program will be focusing on the TRRC, the beginning of the 9th session, which dealt with the gender-based violence issues. But then, of course, at some point, we had the testimony of a former APRC junta member, Edward Singate, who had 2 days of testifying and will go for another day, perhaps even 2, from Monday onwards. Edward, of course, was an original member of the junta which overthrew the Jawara government in 1994 and which, of course, transformed to be the APRC government, which has been described as, one of the most dictatorial regimes in West Africa for the 22 years that they were in government as government of the Republic of the Gambia. Before I move on to go to the testimony, let me ask Nima, did you even expect that a guy like Edward Singate will agree to testify, given the fact that he was one of the most adversely mentioned, and he was also said to be one of the most, allegedly one of the biggest perpetrators of the early crimes committed under the regime of the junta, the November 11th, as well as the killing in June 95 of former Finance Minister Koro Sisi. Did you even expect that he would have accepted to come?
Expect, perhaps not, but highly anticipated, yes, especially when Sana Sabali appeared. Edward's name has been mentioned for so long that if he hadn't appeared on the TRRC, something would have been missing. So Gambians generally anticipated that he would come, and coming was really good for the TRRC process.
How much did you learn from his testimony? Not just about the gravity of the allegations, but did you have any understanding of the operations of the junta from the very beginning?
So far, I don't think we have learned so much from Edward. There have been starking allegations against him. So we expected that when he come, like Sana Sabali did, he was going to own up to some of the allegations against him. But what we have learned is that he is only willing to accept collective responsibility and deny individual responsibility. And majority of the allegations against him were direct involvement for the part that he had played. So when he came and he denied this, I don't think this is a surprise to many people, because this particular individual has also been painted as a sociopath, as a manipulative individual who is very eloquent, and he also has a law background. So he knows how to maneuver his way through these testimonies to deny himself anything that could be held against him in case of any prosecution moving forward. And he did that very perfectly, I guess.
Well, Mustafa, I've always believed that these people, with all the allegations leveled against them, which to some extent, are very near credible, I think these people saw this. I expected Edward to come. I knew he had always been a smart guy, and they take this TRRC process as an avenue that gives them a lifeline, to come back to the Gambia, to have a way of coming back to the Gambia as a free man, and of course to face the realities, all this, to face I mean, these allegations that have been leveled against them, I think they see the TRRC as an avenue to kind of, salvage themselves. Yes, to salvage themselves, to give themselves some image after all what has been said about them. So, did you see it like that? Why did Edward jump to accept to come and face whatever humiliation, it is? Is it not that he knew perhaps this is a good chance for me to come and look for some acceptability and at least clear from the minds of the people all the bad feelings they may have about me?
I think there are three things which are very important. One was the testimony of Sana Sabali, who is Edward's colleague. Two, TRRC is a court of its own. By that I mean the court of public opinion. And three, by testifying at the TRRC, Edward has everything to gain and nothing to lose. So to explain this, if Edward had not testified before TRRC, given that he is superior, like he is compelled to appear, legally compelled to appear because he was summoned, where would he be? In England? Nigeria? What would he be doing there as a consultant? Gambia can still get him. So he would rather, any intelligent man would rather come free, testify, speak your truth, and go back to your job.
And then hope that
in the next year or two, when TRRC finishes, you will be forgiven, or that you may have some amnesty. This is the reasonable thing to do. Any other person who does anything otherwise is clearly not smart.
Or just a fool.
Yeah. So, and second, also this TRRC is also an opportunity for Edward to also tell his side of the story. And to say, well, the truth spoken by some other guys are their truth, and that's not necessarily the truth. The reality was that this is how it happened, and try to clean himself in some areas where he could not, and try to offer an apology so that he wins the heart of the people, or tries to get himself a better favorable image as Sana had done. So I think what he did was the only
way out for him. The only thing any intelligent person in their position would do was to use the TRRC as an opportunity at least to salvage themselves.
That's the reasonable thing to do.
All right, we will come to the nitty-gritty, some of the tense moments at the hearing, and of course the topics that he had to deal with. Madi, many people, of course, they perceive this to be an exchange of two legal minds, forgetting the bigger picture, which of course they need to search for the truth about what happened to those soldiers and Finance Minister Koro Sisi, or what his involvement was. Should we even celebrate suspected murderers who have been asked to come to confess their crimes, or should we just? A lot of people got hooked to Edward's flamboyance, or he had always been an attractive, person who always have people admiring him, and we knew, of course, this TRRC show would provide him with an opportunity. But does it clean his image as a suspected murderer that he had always been living through the last 22 years?
No. The unfortunate thing is, people just dropped this whole, scenario to, as you said, between two people, and Edward was speaking to the Gambian people, not to ESA.
Exactly.
And that is the reason why there's this thing so-called sympathy for him, and a lot of dissatisfaction with ESA, because he succeeded to make Gambians miss the point. Certainly, as a human being, he has rights, and he should be heard, and he should be accorded fair treatment. So that is non-negotiable. That has to happen. But the way and manner the conversation went, I believe Edward had prepared himself very well for this. And this preparation, sometimes I even want to believe Edward had known a day like this would come someday.
Exactly.
Because if he had said, I mean, which he said that he did not shoot at that time in 1994, 1995. The only reason I can believe him would be that even at that time, Edward had figured that no matter how long, a day would come when we will be held accountable for these crimes which are unacceptable, illegal, under any law. So that when he stood in the line and they were to shoot these people, he did not shoot. Because at that time, I did not think anyone would stand on that line and you refuse to shoot. You would only refuse to shoot if you knew at that very moment that this is illegal, and not just that, but that a day of reckoning would come. Now, without that knowledge, I would have assumed everyone would shoot, and particularly the leaders like him and Sana and so. So that if that is not the case, it means Edward later in his life had decided also to quietly get out of government, go to law school, and prepare himself for a day like this. And apart from all of that, you see, Edward has a very good demeanor. I mean, those who interacted with Edward at a personal level, he is that person who is polite, gentle, speak to you nice, and all of that. I understand. If you recall, you were an observer probably at the time when Edward had this conversation with Jawara in 1994 when Jawara was in the ship.
Transcript was published.
People loved him. I mean, some people just loved the council at that time.
No, he was always the most attractive and the most eloquent and the
because
most easily admirable person.
Exactly. Yeah, he spoke with Jawara in such a way that if Jawara was not someone also very critical, would have just jumped out of that ship and come back. All right. But you see, I think therefore when Edward faced Esa, he came with statements. Let me explain. Otherwise, come and sit here and explain. If you don't hear me, you would not know the truth. You see, those kind of statements, what it does is, I've already written this, it gives the impression that Edward is being constrained, is being denied, is in a position of weakness, and is speaking to someone who is in a position of power. And as I said in some other place, the natural tendency, if all of you are, talking to me and I'm trying to talk back, and you're like, the natural tendency for the rest of mankind is that we will side with the weak and the vulnerable. And so Edward managed to create a scenario that put him as the weak and the vulnerable. And this powerful man, Esa, is the lambasting him. And easily, because a lot of folks are not really critical, people try to understand, what phenomena, operates before them. So people began to say, no, but Esa, give him time, let him explain. Forgetting that, lastly, just forgetting. Look, we did not ask Yaya Jammeh and Edward and Sana and Co. to stage a coup in 1994. They did it on their own. The government people did not ask them to maim and kill. And during the period of their tenure, they controlled the narrative. They came out with the statements that those people wanted to overthrow them, blah, blah, blah. And so they controlled the narrative.
At the time,
Yes, at that time. Today, it is not for Edward or Yaya Jammeh or Sana to still control that narrative. We the people, and I don't know about others, but me, I want to ask Edward or Yaya Jammeh my questions. And him answer my questions to my satisfaction. Whatever scenario context he has, unless if I feel I need it. But I'm not going to sit here to listen to...
Which is what Esa was trying to do.
All right. So for me, Esa is my mouthpiece to put my narrative there. That now is my narrative. So you did your act, you had a narrative, it's done.
So it comes to the point that actually for those who care about the truth, for those who were here or have known what happened in 94, the gravity of the situation, and have suspected or knew about the roles of Edward and others, it is Esa who is speaking on behalf of the nation, because here was somebody who has allegedly murdered people. He's been asked to explain the situation, so he shouldn't be allowed, to come and bombard us with the narrative he fed us when he was in power. So that's the issue. Yeah. Now, Nyima and others, you people perhaps were too young at the time. You didn't know which role Edward played, or Sana played, or Yaya played, or what had happened in '94, etc. So perhaps people like you, young people on the social media, who, as one critic said, who probably got carried away by Edward's eloquence, or his good looks, his intelligent interventions were probably carried a look. Esa is trying to put this innocent man, but Edward had always been very nice openly, but his critics have always said he was an evil genius. From what you have heard, what kind of man do you perceive him to be?
I sat in the same class with Edward once when he was a student and I was a student.
That was when he was doing law?
When he was doing
law. He was your classmate in the law?
Exactly. So Madi had said, Edward is a very charming person. He's very convincing. And from my understanding, he can be a very manipulative person. And what Madi said is exactly true. Edward was not speaking to Isa. He was speaking to
the nation. He wanted
He have said several times, I don't want people to perceive this to be the case. Lest people misunderstand.
Yeah.
So he was speaking to the people.
Or because you are trying to make people believe
Exactly.
X, Y, and Z.
So this is the point. But to play a devil's advocate in this matter, I think the TRRC was set up for a specific object.
For a purpose. Yes.
So it's the lead counsel's role, the way I see it, has turned into a prosecutory role to make people accept their responsibilities in this whole act. But I think if you're looking at the bigger picture, you also want the truth from the individual's perspective. And this can only happen when you allow them to explain things from their own perspective, so that we do not just see that a crime has been committed, but we also understand the context in which it has happened.
He has been.
Because that's what offers lessons that can be learned.
Okay, all right.
But if the individual is not speaking their truth, or they are not given the opportunity to speak their truth, then we miss that aspect of the Truth Commission, where we learn lessons so that it doesn't repeat itself again. And I understand that giving space to Edward means he can maneuver and he can manipulate and he can give a narrative that he wants to give that could be convincing to the people. But again, it serves another aspect, like I've explained, which should have been allowed to unfold.
But Mustafa,
and I've not seen that happen.
With all his fine rumblings and with all his maneuvering, he did not eventually, although he's yet to complete, escape from the fact that he took part in the killings of the soldiers in November 1994. He came to, with all what happened, he didn't change the fact that he owned up to the murder of these soldiers. Do you think he had come prepared to confess that, or it was along the way that he knew there was no way he had to?
Well, of course, if you had been listening to the testimony, and that's what I was going to come to. I think it's important, Nima's point is important, that it's a truth-seeking process, so you allow people to tell their truth. But what Madi said is also very critical. And in fact, that's, for me, the most important thing. That Edward is there prepared, but Asa also is there for a task.
Exactly.
He has been given a task. And if you had listened to what Asa said after Edward admitted to have ordering the second batch of shootings, you know, the initial shootings where Basiru Barrow and Dot Fala died, of course, for a lot of us, that just didn't make sense. Sana said Edward shot, Edward said he did not shoot. Edward, of course, everybody appreciates the fact that he said he's a marksman and he holds the record in the GNA of falling a prey 300 meters. But I mean, the point was that it was difficult for anybody to comprehend that people were lined up in front of you, 300 meters, you were with someone there, and that individual said you shot, and you said you did not shoot. Your orderly said you shoot. You said you did not shoot.
Yes.
Everybody in the present said you shoot. You said you did not shoot.
Well,
So this is the point, Lamin,
Yeah.
what Mustafa is saying. And that is what we need to correct, Nyima. Edward was not denied to speak.
Okay.
No. You see, this is why I said Edward was speaking to the government public.
Yes.
To make them believe that he was denied to speak. He wasn't. Edward narrated a lot of stories. How a senator sees the keys of his car from his mother. I mean, he said how he can shoot somebody 300 meters. But that is not the issue.
That's not.
Whether you are marksman or not marksman, that's not the issue. That is just a deflection. So that is going to be careful. That Esa is not going to sit there for Edward to celebrate himself. You understand? So Edward wasn't there to speak his truth at all. He was given all chances. And Esa is the one who played the piper. So he determines what the piper sings.
We know all that. But then Edward has been keen and enthusiastic to paint a background which he thinks will make Esa and whoever is listening understand the circumstances that led to this.
Now let's look at this particular.
But of course you cannot deny the fact that you cannot deny the fact that some people also, apart from of course the naked truth that they kill people, they want to know some stories about it. Like we knew how the circumstances that led to Sabali's arrest. We knew that Jammeh had always been fearful of Sabali, and we knew also
who said that.
Edward said it.
So was that not a story too?
But
so this is the point. So what is necessary to be told?
That's
let him say it.
Yes.
But then to come and tell us how the cup of tea was hot or cold. I mean, no. But what I'm saying is quite apart from some drama or something like that.
Quite apart from the fact that the naked truth is there, and eventually Edward will say, "I did this."
Now, okay.
But then some people are also interested in some background, and he was allowed to say that.
And he was allowed to say that.
If you compare Sana's testimony to Edward's testimony, the difference the thing that made a huge difference is Sana was more compliant. Sana was willing to come forward with information, and he was willing to accept responsibility. And I think that has played on the psychology of the lead counsel to allow him to elaborate on stuff. And by allowing him to elaborate on stuff, we have also learned so many things. We have learned, for example, how the military works. We have learned how military psychology works. We have learned how information gets transmitted from the officers to and the command, the chain of command, and their understanding of their role as far as the Constitution is concerned. We understood all of these things from Sana's testimony.
Okay, Edward.
I am of the belief that if Edward was allowed the same space, because this one turned into more like a cross-examination than allowing somebody to tell their truth, their stories. If Edward was allowed more space to tell his truth, whether or not it was right or it was wrong, we would have learned something similar to what we have learned from Sana's testimony.
Let me comment on that, because this is, you see, false tactic was informed by the information before him.
Okay.
The reason, Fal repeats, sometimes even if you are TRC, you get fed up with him.
Yes.
He keeps repeating the same scene over and over again.
Yes.
There is a reason for it. He is trying to look at the consistencies between your narratives.
Yes.
And when he gets you on that, he reminds you, he brings you back to it to say, oh, but you said this and now you are saying this.
Exactly.
So then that gives us, the public that he is also playing to, because remember, Fal is also in the court of public opinion. Fal is also trying to point out portray a particular narrative to the commissioners. Fal doesn't decide anything.
And I think that point.
So, and that point, to that point, you see, Edward did not accept. He ordered any shootings. You see, when Edward even did accept it, he ordered the shootings at Yundum, the second version of the shootings after Basiru and others. Fal said, this is a departure from your statement. So if Fal had allowed Edward to just say anything, then in that case, he would not have. So the reason why Fal kept pushing Edward was because the statement before Fal was just unbelievable. This is a guy who has been, let me give you read it out for you, this brief interruption, where he said Mamad Cham and others.
Yes.
So Fal said, apart from denying participation in the arrest, you denied beating Captain Mamad Cham. And Edward said that's correct. Fal says, even though
Cham said you assaulted him.
Yes.
He said that's correct. He said even though 3 other witnesses who confirmed that you assaulted him. He said that's correct. So from the statement of all these 4, are you then confirming that you assaulted Mama Cham? You want the commission to believe your side of the story.
And what did he say?
And he said, yes, well, I can only offer my side. What the commission takes is entirely up to the commission.
And then
but this is the frustration.
And then he will tell ESR that unless you believe the evidence with you is the truth, then of course you don't need to ask me.
Then you go to Madi's politics Madi is talking about.
But let's look at this now. I mean, from what we have had before the commission, before this commission, these stories have been told in various fora, and have been. Now, information I got before now, I respected Edward's testimony and believed him until the shootings at the Fajara barracks. Because what I've heard from very, very, very credible sources even before now was this, and I have cross-checked and so many commentators. One confirmation was the book written by Samsudin Sar, so was that at the time of these shootings, the council members had lined up their men, but it took them a while before the men will even realize that these people are actually serious about us shooting our own people. So they ordered, shoot once, shoot second, shoot a third time, nobody shot. And it was when Edward and Sana allegedly started shooting that these other people shot. And many people believe they must have shot in the air, because if they had shot at the soldiers in the middle, no one would have survived. But then Elef Jammeh survived. Elef Jammeh ran away across the fence and went. Sajakal survived, and others who later came to attack Katong in 97.
Yeah, but Babu Gajada said at that shooting,
yes,
1 or 2 people dropped.
Two dropped. But these were the people. What happened? What happened to what happened to the rest of the people who fired? If they had actually fired at the people in the middle of...
No, like you said, those soldiers lined up. Yeah. Must have been in a state of confusion, fear,
exactly,
and whatever shock, that we are shooting people.
They never wanted to do that.
So in that instance, it could be.
Yeah.
People may lose focus. People may deliberately shoot up. Yeah. So, and then because the shooting took place, immediately the victims would also break off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would definitely have, and I think few people who may escape. Yeah.
And I think even Edward acknowledged it, because he said people must not blame their men also for doing that, because ordinarily they would never have agreed to do this.
That is plain to the gallery. Those are the statements anyone was putting forward.
But that tend to lend credence to the fact that the soldiers were always reluctant to obey their orders. I mean, like I said, he called them to shoot 3 times. They refused. They could not believe that they had been asked to kill their own people until when he and Sana started shooting Barrow and Fall. That's the time these people ordered shot. But my worry is, would those 21 or 18 soldiers have escaped if definitely they came under fire from these men? They certainly must have been shooting in the air to avoid casualties, because otherwise they wouldn't have. They wouldn't, as Edward said, Well, my point is this. Edward and Sana probably are the ones who actually shot the Barrow and the others.
That's the
point. I could not believe him there. I respected all his story until that point. Yes. Because obviously many theories have said well before now that it was the 2 who started shooting. The men refused to shoot even after being asked to do so 3 times.
The point here is Edward can never abdicate responsibility.
No, but
any of the instances where he appeared. All those people who appeared before Edward painted Edward to be the mastermind of all the activities that happened.
Yes.
Not even Jammeh.
Yes.
So whatever happens, Edward can never abdicate responsibility. If he says, I did not do it, we cannot accept that to be the truth.
That's where the problem is.
But that's besides the point. I mean, the point to help the whole process.
Yeah.
From where I'm speaking from, is not to favor Edward or any other individual. If I ask Edward, where are you at mile 2, for example? He said, yes, I was there. Did you shoot? No, I didn't shoot. Did you participate? I did not participate. I would give him the benefit of the doubt to explain to me from his perspective what happened. And then I use that against the evidence that I have. Because that information is going to be helpful for us to understand.
But that's what the SR did. SR asked him, then were you a bystander?
So the truth is,
were you just a bystander?
This takes you to what Madi said.
That's what SR did.
This actually takes you to what Madi said.
SR told him, were you a bystander?
So this actually takes you to what Madi, because what Madi is telling you is that he had actually make people believe that in fact he did not have the chance to explain his side of the story. That's exactly what Madi said.
But he did explain.
He did.
He did.
He had every opportunity.
Tell us the story from where it began to where it ends.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
not the same
now,
as cross-examining based on...
Now, everybody's... Let me quote you, a chapter I read from Samsar's book, Coup d'etat in the Gambia. Samsar was locked up in that cell, just as the other security detainees. He didn't say he was malhandled by Edward personally, but he alleged in the book that whenever the council members came to the mile 2, he would smell alcohol from their breath. He said, allegedly, this included Edward. Edward, it must be said, denied ever been intoxicated there. Some said he would come to his cell, he would say, cruise missile. He said, he called him cruise missile because at the time of the coup, some had threatened them that, look, if you people should act stupidly, these Americans here on their ship will unleash cruise missiles on you and we'll all be wiped out. So when the coup succeeded, so Edward was continued to mock him. Cruise missile. He said, Edward would come to his cell and he would say, cruise missile, are you here? And then he will keep quiet. He said he maintained survival tactics by keeping quiet. In fact, sometimes playing as if he was mad to avoid Edward's impulsiveness. Because he described at one point Edward and Yankuba came and Edward was uncocking his rifle and he was about to fire until Yankuba had to stop him and said, are you mad? So, and there were various accounts of that. They all describe how Edward was the one most feared, him and Sabali, of course. So, if Edward should say he had never tortured Mamar Cham, whom he knew to be his boss, they know each other very well, you will begin to wonder who is right. I'm not all Edward. So those are I'm saying from my perspective and based on information I had before now, that's where I tend to disbelieve Edward a little bit. That he actually, his own role, he denied what has been said was his own role there. So, I mean, this was the debate with him because, I mean, Esa's role was not just to collectively hold these people collectively responsible. He wanted to know whose role is what so that he can apportion blame or whatever sanction to the right place. So that's where the problem is.
So you see, Edward was given chance to explain. The scenario you draw, it can go two ways. You can let him say, okay, you went to Mali, you were there, you did not participate, you did not torture. So, and Edward said, let me explain the context. You can let him explain the context. And at the end of the day, the whole context would be that I did not participate. That would be the conclusion, because that's what he started with.
Yes.
So if I leave council...
Yeah, but what story will you tell that will be convincing to the public? That's the question.
Well, that's up to him, because as I said, he has the ability to find safe spaces and exploit them and expand them. Yeah, I understand. I mean, look at the shooting of Kebe. When you listen to Kebe's testimony, when you listen to Sana and others' testimony, you have no doubts that only Edward can shoot this guy.
Yeah, even Edward's own testimony. Let me remind, he said, he was in front of him, his pistol came out.
He drew the
pistol. So Kebe would, whatever happened to Kebe, he would always conclude that it was...
The house is cramped, packed.
So you see, with all his intelligence, I think he failed to realize that people will always find, holes in that statement.
So that is one scenario. Now recall also about the detentions that Sana detained. If you follow the exchange, Edward said there are people detained by Sana that the council was not part.
Yes, he wanted to say that. He wanted to say that, yes.
And Esa challenged him on that. Until Esa had to bring the decree.
Yes.
That gave power to Sana to do those, or the council to arrest and detain.
Yes.
And then he said, absolutely.
Right.
Did this decree not give power to Sana to detain? I said, absolutely.
Absolutely. But before
that, he had been denying that, no, we had detained some people, but Sana also went ahead to detain people on their own.
But I think that's an element
and to say Sana is erratic.
No, but that's an element of truth. I want to believe that from the information I heard, I think there's an element of truth in that. Sana was doing things on his own. There's no doubt about it before the gazette. Because I have myself had colleagues who were ex-soldiers who were detained, and it was said that they were detained by Sana.
But that remains an allegation.
No, but listen, that was before the degree. I think there is an element of truth that Sana...
Yeah, they may have been Sana on the orders of others.
Go back a bit.
Yes.
You see, Edward himself
That's before the degree, of course.
Right, but because Edward himself said, when the coup succeeded, which was the first task, a lot of the secondary tasks were executed by Sana.
Yes.
So I strongly believe that all of those soldiers you're talking about, or arrest detentions that Sana made, it wasn't as if Sana got out of his bed and went to arrest those people. That is an agreement that they would have made, decision that they have made. Sana is operating on that understanding and arresting people. Those are the secondary tasks and orders that Sana was executing. So just because the decree wasn't there yet, and those decisions were taking place, does not mean that for the council members weren't aware and in agreement with Sana. You see, so those kind of loopholes, but you can see the loophole there.
Yeah.
When the decree started, the arrest started, the secondary task. So anyone has the ability to discover those safe spaces and then expand. Now, look at the other scenario also about the crushing the coup. Now, in Edward's testimony, people should realize that Edward was having private conversations with Jammeh that did not include Sana or Sadibu or Yankuba.
He said something like that.
Things he
and
said,
he was the most
for
close.
example, he said the council decided to crush the coup.
Yes.
Now, in fact, for me, I feel there are things that the lead council should have pursued, he did not pursue.
Okay.
Because when he said crush the coup, what is the meaning of that?
That is to stop it at what?
But what is to stop it?
With
what force?
By any
actions?
means. By any means.
Okay,
I don't
no.
think there was any ambiguity since he said.
There is ambiguity.
There is ambiguity.
But since he later said, take no prisoners.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
That take no prisoners, according to Ed, was not a matter decided.
It was an order from Jammeh.
Was Jammeh when Sana came.
An order.
My analysis of that is, Edward and Yahya must have discussed already that we are going to take no prisoners. So by the time Sana came, Yahya told Sana, gave the order, take no prisoners. But by then, Edward had already known that this is the decision that we are not going to take any prisoners. Just remember to his conversation with Jammeh about Yankuba Toure being part of the coup. It means Edward and Yahya were having private conversations. So there are a lot of things. Edward is not divulging, but he has been able to find spaces.
But that's my point.
And build up.
My point.
In fact, he
it
said
is not only us, the people, who fell for Edward's manipulation. Even Isafar fell for it.
How?
The point is, Edward came to abdicate responsibility. And Edward is going to do this by saying, I'm not allowed to explain. And if Isafar fell for that, and he only limited himself to cross-examine him based on the evidence before him, and not allowing him to tell his story so that we can find the loopholes that you have found, then he is playing into Edward's act. And he has played very well into his act. So that the audience are made to believe that Isafar has not given him the opportunity to explain.
Yeah. So look at even the tricks.
I'm not done. If Edward was allowed to explain, it is obvious the truth and the lie can never be the same. It is obvious that we are going to spot the lies. The people are going to spot the lies, and we are going to understand that Edward is not telling the truth.
But it's not the people who are investigating.
That's
the commission that's investigating.
The people don't have that. That's the issue.
TRC is meant for the people.
But what I mean is,
there are investigators.
Very critical.
But the evidence before ESA, the public don't have that.
ESA, it's like the people's president. He's the one doing the advocacy for the people.
ESA would always know what to put to him, and then he would come and challenge that with evidence he has. We don't have that.
You do that when you're prosecuting.
We don't have that.
You do that when you're prosecuting.
Well, but this is more or less to put his crimes to him and get him to admit or deny them.
But that's the point. The point is we're trying to understand what to make sense of the issue. Not just to prosecute, not just
and I think already
already
the story is not, it's out there.
Yes.
Already it's not just about the story. The story is out there. So, I mean, let's look at Edward and all the things he had put and the contradictions. So Asa had found out that Edward will always go for things that you may even have it difficult to prosecute him on and admit those.
Yes.
But always the things that are directly, he is going to be held directly responsible, he avoid those. So he had always found a way of telling the story from that perspective. That is why even before he get to the ordering, he said, Jambe said, take no prisoners. So the killing, so that the killing can be connected to Jambe's orders and not necessarily his actions.
The responsibility of the country.
So that is why, and also if you go to any other decisions, even where he admitted killings, he said, Sana ordered for us to kill. He went into the anteroom, then I ordered the forces to shoot. So even where he admitted killings, where he admitted to commit murder, he had put it on Sana. So there is nothing that Edward in fact said.
Apart from collective responsibility.
Apart from collective responsibility, nothing.
So is this because he is more familiar or aware of implications as a lawyer, the implications of admitting to your individual roles as opposed to collective responsibility? Perhaps he knows the laws, so that's why he's looking at all these loopholes to exonerate himself from.
But the reality is, this is TRRC. Edward knew very well that he will testify like Sana did, and when he's done, he is going to go.
Of course it is, yes.
Now, the least you could do for the people
is to tell the truth.
Is to tell the truth.
But is he not,
and allow the people
but at the end
to
of
move
it, is he not saying, I mean, he may say his role, he may say he denied his role, but he didn't deny the fact that he is responsible. In fact, he even said that he is personally to blame for whatever Jam may have done when he was there and after.
But you see the problem even Asa found with that. And that you will also found with that. That is a moral responsibility. And that is playing to the gallery, like Madi was saying. That is like playing the politics for the people. Because he knew people are also listening. So he's portraying himself as the brave guy. But what you don't see is that the important one, which is direct responsibility that he should admit to, he's running away from that. So he's telling, like even where he's saying, collective responsibility, he's saying, but lead counsel, I admit. In fact, at some point, he ignored the lead counsel and he was directly talking. He in fact slumped on the seat and he was directly addressing the vice chair.
Of course, he knew. That's right. He always know. Of course, I know he was frustrated with the council. He wanted really to get some sympathy from the commissioners. He sometimes direct his answers
to the commissioners.
Yes, but that's true. As I never wanted to allow him to have free reign to come up with stories that he thinks will only going to. We're going to influence the minds of the people listening to him. But now, forgetting these specific things now, he cannot change the fact, of course, that he was involved in murder. He admitted to everything. But what did it tell us about the mindset of Jammeh himself and Sabally before the coup and after events leading to Sana's arrest? Now, before the coup, of course, he admitted it was Sana who did the coup. Yaya was just crafted in. And because Yaya was in, people like Lieutenant Barrow could not cope with Barrow. He even wanted to say perhaps Yaya had a psychological problem because he was been either neglected or was been considered with some spite or some inferiority. He really actually wanted to dwell on that for people to know the psychology of Jammeh, but perhaps he was not given a chance to continue that. But he said he would come to that. He wanted to say Jammeh was isolated or was being looked upon in an inferior way. Did you understand that? What did you understand?
Well, he attempted to say, actually what he attempted to say was that Jammeh was
he wasn't from the mainstream military. And
no, he said that, but he also said,
he talked about ethnicity.
Yeah,
that,
he wanted to say
majority.
That's right. Jammeh came from a concept that made him look inferior, something like that.
Yeah, he attempted to narrate it.
He wanted to do
what
that.
Madi also attempted to say. So
yeah, he of course had always. He never had the fact that Jammeh was not a true soldier.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't get that part. The part I get really is that in military terms they call it esprit de corps.
Yeah.
Jammeh did not share that with the rank and file simply because he did not come out of that infantry military environment, which is understandable. But you see, for me, this whole coup, in one sense, I feel somebody like Edward and probably even Bashir Barrow and so may have had good intentions or concerns in terms of getting Gambia out of what it were then. But I think folks like Jammeh himself and even Edward along the way have abandoned that agenda. I think if there's anyone who probably was committed to that agenda, I would have said is Sana.
That's what he claimed.
Yeah,
we are yet to hear. We are yet to hear from Edward, because I'm sure it will be put to him whether Sana's claim that because of his position on returning the country to civilian rule, he was being targeted for elimination.
Allegedly, he and Sadiq.
Yes.
Yeah. So because
we are yet to hear Edward will confirm that.
Yeah, I'm saying this because after the coup, towards the end of '94, I left to study in Sierra Leone.
Yes.
And I remember Sana and Edward himself, I think probably Sadibu, did come to visit Sierra Leone.
It was Edward who came in April '95. I arrived in Freetown. A few days he left. I came to your university.
Yeah, but I think Sana was that. Or Sana came earlier in another visit.
That must be towards the end of '94.
Yeah. So and we had a meeting as government students at FBC. We had a meeting with him, and by that time he spoke to the issue that they would do only 2 years and go back. So that was even before probably the 4-year thing came out.
Exactly.
Was that Sana?
Yes, Sana. Yes, Sana was very strong on that. And so how all of that turned out to now 4 years and
2 years. Yes. So you want to believe that actually Sanam could have been right when he said it was his position that they spent only 2 years and go.
Yeah. I think what I now understand between Jammeh, Edward, and Sana. Jammeh would be what I would call a spineless person. Like he had no principles.
Okay.
Yes, he would just go for whatever. I think between Sana and Sadibu, Edward, they stood for something. It may be right or wrong, right? You can agree on that, but at least they believed in something and they stood for something.
They stood for something.
Yes. I think if among them there's a person who believes in nothing, who stands for nothing, really, and probably for his only selfish interest would be Jammeh. And so I think it's a huge tragedy that he ended up being the leader. And
But what do you make of this? From what we have had, even from the testimonies of Sana, who actually, from what he had said, we got the impression that he was quite the guy, the key player, doing most of the things. Was the less timid among all the three. Then we have Edward's testimony, which told us, and from what his own critics have alleged, the two were the most fearsome individuals in the council. The theorists have always said Jammeh was the most timid. Now, there were other theories that perhaps the Gambia at the time, until now, when I'm hearing that it was actually Jammeh who was ordering these killings, people said the Gambians were lucky that it was not Sana or Edward who had been given the chairmanship. The situation would have been far worse.
I differ. I
don't think Jammeh has
well, Edward told us. Listen. Edward told us that because he thought the impulsiveness and instability and recklessness of Sana
Of Sana, yes.
He didn't think he was suitable for a leadership. He said that. People equally describe Edward himself of the same character. So I mean, the two of them were the most fearsome, were the most reckless at the time. Isn't it true then that perhaps, despite all his, despite whatever we might think of him, we were lucky in a sense that Jammeh became chairman and not Edward or Sana?
In my view, I think Jammeh is the better politician of them, of all of them. Because Jammeh is the one who had always been the most deadly, but yet the one whose behavior is not out in the public space. Even when after this whole thing was, and Jammeh became a politician, he has always been the guy who portrays himself the nicest of people, the very good Muslim, the this and the that. And the character that he has is very different. Sana and others are the people who would outwardly manifest their behavior.
Jammeh is fake. I mean,
Jammeh is fake. Sana is.
Very beginning,
You see Sana.
I'm saying until now, when I hear that he was actually ordering the killings in '94, I mean, people who knew them said we were lucky it wasn't Sana or Edward.
I think Sana would have been a better leader.
Sana? Even Edward said he was going to.
No. Sana would have been better.
But I think naturally Edward would speak about Sana in very
bad light.
And I'm sure probably Sana too would speak similarly about Edward.
No, Sana said Edward.
But based on what we've got, given their roles, just to say upfront first, I don't think we deserve any one of them. Right?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, but just to looking at the fact, on hindsight,
yes,
Sana seems to be one that was committed to Gambia.
Okay.
When you look at his actions,
okay,
going to public institutions, appearing on time to make people come, promise of late, demanding performance delivery, even accountability. The fact that he would even call for that vehicle from Edward's mom, all of that indicate Sana may have had some feelings that we need to have discipline and we need to have a country that works.
Okay.
Which for me, for a person like Edward,
but he was also going about shooting civilians.
Yes, I think
he was erratic.
That is why I'm saying we don't deserve any one of them.
Okay.
I think at the point, power was too much in his hands.
Exactly. Yes.
And so he was very rash in a lot of the things he did.
Yeah.
That is there. But at the same time too, we have seen in his actions things that link to
making
the society work.
Okay.
He
was
with methods that would be too excessive, and so to speak. But then one would not see that kind of stuff with Edward. Because Edward seems to just be satisfied with power.
What is Edward's drawbacks? He was like an evil genius, they will say. He was.
Yeah, so Edward would just be safe. So as long as Jammeh is in power, Edward knows the caliber of Jammeh. He knows what kind of person he is.
Okay.
He is weak, he's not intelligent, he is a coward.
And Edward is a brave soldier by all standards.
So Edward knows, let me push Jammeh up there, and I'll be behind.
So that I can,
and just know
of course, Edward would,
just to be safe.
I think there's a valid point there, because throughout all the alleged coups and attempted coups, we've never had Edward sing at the surface in any of them.
No.
Never.
Even he will rock the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as he is safe.
Yes.
And in the circumstances, probably he knew, as Edward himself, he does not have the capacity to lead. So he was not busy about leading.
He was not greedy, power hungry at the time, because he said himself he neglected, diminished himself to number 4.
Who was that?
Edward.
Edward was not, but I think I would go with Madi. Edward is the guy who likes the safer place.
He took defense. Somebody who took, what did Interior.
Yeah. But that is also because, as you said rightly, he identified
Jammeh
based on seniority.
Seniority, of course.
And when Jammeh identified him,
to be his.
Salimu raised the issue of seniority.
He told him, no.
You know, naturally, then
Sabali should be there.
Sabali.
Yeah.
And so,
and that bondage continued. It looks like.
Yeah,
Sabali was very
Sabali and
Sabali was close to Singate and
I think the way the kind of character I would see with Edward is he plays safe.
Okay.
So as long as they are together, there are no threat, he will go along.
He will go along.
And you know, as long as he feels threatened, he would take a position.
Yeah.
So not necessarily he has any particular
bad intention, but
vision.
He has to be provoked to actually go into excesses.
Yeah. So I mean, if he is behind a terrible leader like Jammeh, he will protect him.
Okay.
If he's behind a very good leader, he will protect him.
He will protect him.
You know, so
he would go along with anything
which
that's
I don't think.
He was about. You see that Jammeh and Edward. In fact, Edward said when Jammeh was trying to convince him to get rid of Sana, he told him
close ally. That
Sana
when they
considers you
as an ally of mine.
as allies.
Yes.
If he gets rid of me, he will get rid of you too. If he comes for me, he will come for you too.
So tell us that from the very beginning, it was Edward and Edward actually who had more sympathy with Jammeh than any other, because in the first place he invited him even over the opposition from Barrow and others. That's what he tried to tell us, and he was on the verge of telling us why Sabali was arrested. We haven't reached there, but what did you think would have happened? How do you think Edward was convinced to join Jammeh's paranoia about Sabali?
Well, look, the truth is that Edward, it was a survival instinct. Someone comes to you and say, look, this guy is going to come for me, and if he comes for me, he's going to come for you.
Even if I'm not convinced.
Yeah, but the history was there. You could see that Edward was saying all the car problem that Madi alluded to between him.
But he said he had forgotten that. But although trust was gone, he said, but he had forgotten that.
Gone.
Yeah,
so you could see things were piling up. That passed, the other vehicle of another person Edward also knows was confiscated, and that also was not returned. And he said, in fact, Sana, when he went to Sana to ask for the vehicle to be given to him, Sana did not respond kindly. That also piled
and Sana showed disrespect to Jammeh.
And also, Sana showed disrespect to Jammeh in front of him.
Yes, of course.
And that also piled up.
In fact, it was said at the time that whenever they hold a meeting, Sana was in there, he will come and say, let that meeting be redone. So he was, the most powerful and the most... so he was always going to come. They were always going to...
Jammeh by nature, like Madi said, Jammeh was a coward. Jammeh by nature does not want to be in the same space with anybody who threatens to overshadow him.
Yes,
you've seen the case of Baba Job and others. Anybody who gets to that level, he gets rid of him.
Okay, Madi, we are yet to be there, but Edward has owned up to the killings in November 1994. But come on, let's say the most high-profile allegations as far as he is concerned is the death of Koro Sise. I saw the lead counsel, reminding him that, so you said among your teachers include one Seni Sise. What is the significance of that? Did you get that?
Yeah, because Seni Sise was Koro's father.
Exactly. Yeah. So the lead counsel apparently is going to bring up this issue.
Yes.
How do you think Edward will defend himself, giving all the evidences that we have had before and what the council had?
Yeah, so I think the strategy Edward is employing, let me take responsibility because I'm a member of the council. So together we did things as a council. But when it comes to specific orders and actions, I did not give the order or I did not execute the action. All right.
Before you move forward, the background to this one apparently is that many people, even those who are critical of Jammeh, said this is one act he did not order. The killing of Koro.
Who did not order it?
Jammeh.
No, I would beg to differ. Yes, I would think.
Ibu Jallo said inside we have we may have reasons to doubt him, but we also have reason to believe him. He said, This guy was so brilliant. Edward was jealous of him. They used to call him Serindara because of his consummate knowledge about things. And then Jammeh had told them not to do any funny thing, that he was going to sack the boy.
All right.
So the belief is that perhaps this is one thing Edu cannot say that it came from Jammeh.
The point is, how can we believe what you're saying when it was so evident and so apparent that Koro's killing was not a natural death? It
No,
was
you don't.
murder, and it was
But
not
who
like
did it?
administration and no investigation was done.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell us Jammeh who ordered. He could have covered up Edward and others, but we are talking about direct orders, like Edward said about the soldiers.
But that account from Ibu Jallo, certainly I don't buy.
Why? He was there.
Yeah, I mean, he was there. I mean, and I think he's giving information carefully.
Dembanjai, the chief of staff, said he had Jammeh talking to Edward at the foot of the aircraft.
Yeah.
And
so you see, we've also studied military regimes, juntas around the world, and they create decoys. They create scenarios.
I know decoys.
Yeah, I understand. You know, to give impressions that don't exist.
Okay.
And as I said, also there are a lot of conversations. Jammeh, knowing the sneaky guy he is, he's had a lot of conversations with Edward one-to-one.
Yes.
He's had conversation, I'm sure, with even Sana to backbites Edward.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had conversations with,
happened.
you know, Yankuba to, damage Sana and so on. So this is a gang. And so what for me stands out is that they all decided to eliminate Koro Sise, and it is well planned. If you look at the way it is, if you listen to the testimony of Alaji Kani, I understand. So there is no doubt that they did this together. Now, what I hope...
you didn't believe theories that Jammeh actually admired the man, and he never wanted him dead. He actually wanted, because of his
I don't agree with that. I agree he admired him.
Yes.
And like he admired many people, he ended up killing. But that he did not want to harm. No. Jammeh, nothing would stand in his way. All right. Jammeh is like any typical dictator. Saddam Hussein, Idi Amin, Mobutu would sacrifice even his wife, his child, if need be.
So do you expect Edward to say actually it was Jammeh who said we can get rid of him? When Jammeh was in the plane.
Two questions.
Jammeh was airborne at the time.
Yeah, so two questions. Yeah, but this decision was taken before Jammeh entered that plane. But there are 2 or 3 questions. The decision, all right, the planning and the execution. Where was the decision taken to eliminate Koro Sise? Right, who were participants in that decision? Who planned the process of executing him to get him from that airport scene of Jammeh to make him come to Edward's house, not Yankuba's house, or not there or there? Who conceived this plan? And 3, the act. You know, as Kanye has spoken, the act, how it happened, we will see what Edward would say. But I'm very sure Edward would not answer anything directly. He would tell the council, okay, let me explain. This is my scenario. Get into a scenario that is really off tangent, and the council would interject, and you say, but now, if you don't let me explain, nobody would know.
And people will be impatient.
And then we will, and the rest of Ghana will go with
people will be impatient with Esa and say, look, because sometimes the narrative is so gripping and captivating that people are angry with Esa's interjections.
The soft-talking lawyer
because the point is, and it's nice. Even myself, I would have those feelings. It is nice to listen to thrillers.
Exactly.
You know, tragic stories. It's nice to hear horror stories. So if anybody wants to stop a horror story being narrated,
that's what that's where the problem is. That's where we have. But this is how it is. No, that's where we have problems.
People have come and said,
you see, that's what you cannot, Madi.
If I'm putting it to you and you're denying it,
you see, this is what you
I'll be
cannot.
interested in hearing from you.
That's where the problem is, Nyima.
So let me compare.
That's where the problem is. You see, you cannot take these thrillers you know, and gripping things, and you know, from TRRC proceedings. It naturally became part of. We want to know what happened in the past.
Making it a movie.
You see, that's the problem.
No, because whatever anyone needs to explain, the council lets him explain that particular scene. All right, all of those things that happened, he would explain.
Yes.
I don't see why he was there to explain. Let me tell you this. One strategy. When Edward is talking, I'm sure when he talks to about this corrosive or the previous incidents, you've heard him say, okay, the council will tell him, explain. And he will say, I got up, so we are working, and all of a sudden the council would say, what about that chair? Oh, I was coming to that. You see, after Edward's conversation, I engaged a body language, not as a big expert, but expert in Sweden, who is following this. I said, what is your, as a body language expert? And he said, you know, the fact that he had a cup, every now and again, you will see Edward take his water.
He finished it actually, the first bottle.
He said, you know, in body language analysis, that indicates nervousness. Right? That the guy is under pressure because he is trying to drift somewhere and he cannot have anywhere to escape. And so he has to wet his throat all the time.
Nervousness.
You understand? So when Edward starts to explain and the council interjects immediately, but what about that chair? Because the council has evidence already.
Absolutely.
That when Edward got up, for example, when this person got up, he knocked this one on the chair and moved. But when he is explaining, he just said, I moved to go to the door. But the council knew you did something on the chair before you got to the door. So why don't you start with the chair? But you are going straight to the door. So that's why the council would, anytime the council says, okay, what about that one? And he said, I'll come to that. If the council never said, what about that chair? He will never come to it. So, you know, Edward, you know, the guy knows what he's doing.
That's what everybody said.
So when we get to Kurosise, all right, it will be very interesting.
That's in fact,
because you know, Edward will try to pick a space anywhere to jump into just to, you know, avoid taking responsibility.
Right, two things.
And let's also say that here also an opportunity has presented itself for Edward to say Jambi has ordered for his killing.
That's what, but I'm not expecting that, given the fact that all the evidences, all the signals and signs point to the fact that Edward is the mastermind and his accomplice was Yankuba in that part.
Yeah, but that's what you said. That's what you said. The testimony.
So you were expected Edward to say it was from Jammeh again.
Look, 4 people, 4 witnesses of one incident, torture. All said Edward did torture.
Including the tortured victims themselves.
Edward said he didn't do it.
Okay. Now,
so this same thing he can also come and say, given the testimony Dembanjai and others have given, because others have even said that Edward and Yankuba actually went and positioned their cars in front.
They blocked his car at the airport.
They blocked Koro's car at the airport.
Yes.
From the front and from the back, so that he would not move.
The oddlists who have been relocated from his place to go to look for some
wild goose case
for some non-existent vessels at the back of all those. But now, there's one thing I wanted to, 2 things before we wrap up. That is one. Where does this leave Yankuba Toure? 2, how successful was Edward to conceal his brother's alleged participation in some of these things? I mean, I got the impression that he was trying to say, in fact, his brother reluctantly joined the coup, or because he told him, if they get me, they will get you. Let's start with Yankuba Toure. Because in the first place, we thought that if Yankuba could say they were protected by the Constitution, we thought that perhaps Edward, who is more conversant with law, would have been the one who would actually really bought into that. But, I mean, he came and testified. He didn't bother with, he didn't even bother with whether there was a law that, you know, is protecting. He didn't bring any useless arguments like that. So where did this leave Yankuba Toure?
I mean, Yankuba has already been painted as the underdog of the entire team. And what he showcases is that he's not smart, as they have painted him to be. Yankuba doesn't have any gain by refusing to appear on the TRRC, and he knew it from the onset. And I don't understand where he get his advice from. From the beginning, we all understood he was ill-advised, and this is a proof that he was ill-advised. And see what he has gotten himself into when Edward, who came from all the way from outside to come and testify and is allowed to go free, Sana Sabali came to testify and accept responsibility for the greatest crimes that you can imagine and is allowed to go free. If Yankuba was smart enough, he knew this was his way out. But this just shows that he wasn't smart.
So, I mean, Mustafa, just because he was a Badibunka, or he thought perhaps...
Look, Badibunkas are enterprise. We all know we are very enterprise.
I mean, I would have thought Edward, who's more familiar with law, would have really been the one who raised this thing.
Yeah, but look at it also. Edward has everything to lose when he does not come. Edward has a career to protect. Yes. He has a bigger image. Edward has vice president of the ECOWAS Commission. Yeah. Edward is this big figure on the international scene. I mean, until 2018, somewhere in 2018. So yeah, but he has a lot of image to protect. Yankuba, on the other hand, is a farmer in my native Badibu. So Yankuba does not have much to protect, so he can afford to do what he is doing.
But even
the reasonable thing we all know, to protect your image, your security, your freedom.
Public opinion, losing his freedom, and etc., etc.
But that's him also, I mean, even before the commission, the testimonies are that even Edward almost said that. He said, you know, when Jangwe said Yakuba was also involved in the coup,
he told him.
You saw Edward's expression.
Yeah, he said that.
He almost said, you know, Yankuba is not some guy who is very ambitious. He almost said, you said, well, Yankuba? No, it's impossible. It's impossible. So, you know, the way he said it even tells you Yankuba is that guy who is... you know,
Madi, so Yankuba miscalculated.
Yeah, I mean, on number of fronts. One, I mean, based on what is in the Constitution, I had even argued that he had a point. But then I've come to realize, actually, the Supreme Court had ruled that particular provision to be unconstitutional because it was actually inserted in the Constitution without the due process. So did Yankuba know that or not? And did Edward know that or not? So that it appears Edward must have known that there's already a Supreme Court ruling on this. So this is not tenable anymore. So on that basis, Edward would have advised himself that I cannot depend on these immunity clauses. You know, which Yankuba, I'd be surprised if his lawyers didn't know that, because they are in the judiciary, they should have known that was there.
Okay.
All right. But also, even if that is the case, still he ill-advised himself because the crimes we are talking about are international crimes. And these crimes, by international law, there's a whole UN convention against torture, against enforced disappearances. Yeah, I understand. And which obligates every state, even if you're not a party to it, to enforce it.
Exactly.
All right. So that by now, if Jammeh is been now the commission finds him to be responsible for those crimes, Equatorial Guinea is expected by that convention
will be obliged
to try him there, or to send him back to Gambia, or to send him to another country to be tried. But they must not allow it to pass. So Edward knowing that, and maybe Yankuba not knowing that already,
that's why I
should have advised himself sooner or later. I'm going to face this.
Yes, that's right.
So it is better I come down and face it through a process that I may also get some
sympathy.
Some sympathy.
Understanding.
So I think this miscalculation is what Yankuba made. But Edward made it so that his coming is primarily in his own interest.
That's right. That's why I've said these guys, with all what they have done or are like to have done, they saw this TRS process, the smarter ones that is, not the people from Badibu. They know that this is an avenue that can give us a lifeline in terms of our credibility and acceptance in society. So they said, let's jump on. I mean, if they had seen Jongles testify.
Look at Sana.
And they're sitting there. And Sana.
Sana comes here and he goes to the mosque.
Yes, he comes in. Sana. So.
Expected to gain something back.
Exactly. So now, finally, what about his brother, Peter? I mean, he didn't say much about him, but there are instances he said, and he is alleged to have taken part in some reason, because I had SFL asking him, do you think he probably might come to testify?
Well, I think
is his involvement big enough to attract the TRRC?
Yeah, I think it's big enough. I mean,
November 11. November 11 and Koro.
Koro incident, because the news that came out, which I think has been very
others have investigated.
Yeah, he came out with
a bond, allegedly.
Yeah, and you know, and I think, I'm not sure, but even the independent attack.
Yes, that's right.
It
was alleged, yes,
as well. So, but I think typically, Edward, where he can save himself, I would save his brother.
Okay.
And remember the exchange about the vehicle at his mother. What he spoke about family. That, you know, anytime he feels his family, I mean, he had to cut short. So I think he will do anything
to defend
his brother. But certainly, I think.
But also, if you look at the entire narrative that Edward has built, Edward hasn't ascribed responsibility directly to any individual. Like, he always accepts collective responsibility and command responsibility. But he would, even the people who worked under him,
he said so.
He would never.
He said nobody should blame them.
Except Jambe. Except Jambe, he always puts it on the.
Well, he always said at some point he said no, but then of course, to be fair with him, he said he is seeking apology on behalf of all his colleagues, and that must include Jambe.
Yeah, but that is politics. That's the politics that Madi began the conversation with. And that's the politics, because that makes you credible. It makes everybody think, oh, brave guy.
Brave man.
He's taking responsibility for everyone. Which in fact it's not responsibility, because he was saying, well, actually, it's the council, so we agreed to do it, we do it. They were going to kill us anyways.
All right.
So, but that's where Koro's own will also be difficult to admit. Because whereas November 11, you can claim they were soldiers, they were going to kill us, we killed them, what would you say for Koro?
Yeah, that's where the problem is. He was defenseless, he was not armed, he was not a soldier, he was not staging a coup, unless of course we had some more drama on Monday, but we would think that he was just an innocent civilian. I don't know, whatever.
That's what every indication shows. That everything we have indicates that he was just like any one of us.
All right, gentlemen and lady, that's where we of course have to draw the curtain on this edition of the brunch. Thank you very much, Madi Jobarteh, Nima Kamara, and Mustafa Kedabo. We will end this show with a look at the entrepreneur of the week, and I'm pleased to introduce Omar Dabo of Dabo Kunda Textiles. You also deal in textiles now, Dabo people.
Well, we deal in everything.
Well, I mean, the message said he has our answers to all textile needs, and we can visit him at his shop in Banjul. So after that, we just rush there and get ourselves immaculately dressed for the next show, inshallah. Okay, on behalf of everybody, goodbye for now.
Ya ndala Omar Dabate bota badi bule Darou Salam. Ya business o ngajalo comme ndol mu banko di woledi amanjaran se finti ngata laro kudi nyinola sa nyino non na banko kan ya so walatina fanan kafara Gambia dingo dolma pour nga xat logo ken na banko kan kole akulu ngamen soto jam menu kole akunga jamal la soto jam membe ko comme ni na rajiwe transport la karola because ni aji en dola kilianol jama bebeji ka bo Senegal dol ka bo Guinée Conakry dol ka bo Mali dol ka bo Guinée Bissau so wala na jang to wando be ka kolya ku jama la soto so no yo kolya ku jama soto ka kentole mfane kolya ko let ya o munna problem ku balati la comme feriolu anin Guinée Bissau ko ni bina nyan duanyolu ka kolya ko soto ka men fonye ka men takisilo kan so bakatol nyanta na la poroto ay delay so manna bakaso so customer le call ke al manna bakaso so second na kolya ku ba note kolya ku tayi dolu mo nane le beñam ya mo nane ya ane to lab bin sen da wala Tabakunda textile ya dolu ya nka na firo be nyame comme nka wholesale ka nka retail ke so ni men lafta wholesale la retail nga berga comme la ni lafta baloto la comme picho tallu dol be jisina comme firo le Kenya jamal la soro do bina sa fay ko be metarol kuntola do bina ba fale be 6 metal kuntola do bina ba fale be 12 metal so a dependale bar même fond warata jama ka wholesale ni retail la ke jama american ka packet also like 5 packet 6 packet ya family dol bina ya fam 6 meter woro wala 6 meter say ya na firo Kenya bola nyama ya yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm going to hope so to get back. I hope so to get because media and menka use thing, and over Markwele, more nimojika connect and then can try for now because kokumula nayalti, more ke call ya when you buy car mute yamute, sifalu and can try for good quality some moli, because more adamadu kanya kodo adia but found the men quality, so it's very na do. Ate badu na watu ate o kodomenta bonda la jiwa kona botala bana adu wabala watu quality babala nyinya babala hakilo be malala so na pareta anytime asa muruno kan no so wala nan ka make sure ka try ka good quality samana yeah doctor la do yalla nyala inshallah but anything ko nimba la domba na customer fana inform la inshallah yeah dolbe post office le before nibara airport or stadium or how to call state house ibina maybe birika kononta nyondol bolt so nibara mon Musa Njala birikoto e post office la building order indol birika flanjant yeah Gamcielo use memo 9938978 9700767 3889750 and in 3956272 yeah work so long quality jaman lel soto no like membe ko super wax wala ser rabede ya nka phonics work so soto nka wooden soto nka zava soto nka garate soto nka different type of soto yeah nka plain work so soto yeah so nka work so quality men so data for quality tan nka work so soto batik work so fananta même ala high tech role do be jelo mankal hayte keto o mala ni simple one let ya nga workshop do fanan so daga fa me paksa ya do rata man ser baga ta fanan ni do la hayte keto la fo la quality mankili ya baraka thank you very much ya baraka
noonu lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star jesna la 5 star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu cuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la we're not all about skin we are skin care and the plus does come in so many different ways.
Oh, ini bara. Okay. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, what the madam? Yeah. What I'm doing somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Kamu jadi Grand Villa. That's fine. Slowly. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone consider relaxing. So it's basically that I can understand. It's very relaxing. You know, for me, say what? Media, Nena Granville is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji and the Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adum na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wala mukamutin telkang na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Thank you. Trust me, I love this place. You come to someone and you're watching what? Yeah. I know to come there. Grand Villa. I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftana ku keso sotola futama Oljintum Paradise Estate mbaya komandiro ke 7527218 wale futana website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
yara nyilla domoro ka diate
boy janno CK's restaurant
sa nakko be ni na dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jam ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendil lon dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
e sa dogo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
oto sa nakko be mu CK's restaurant
ndaba na janne mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda mimba Europe Mr. Conte nka bolo kol kan sai na so kono mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bolo kol kan anda ka ba office kono ba dama bulo mutarin baka ta sintilano ko mbato ngane ta ya kuriye ma ko dubanti na ta mano sani tulo ni jaw
munda pete ni la broda man balwo service kalam
mun service
balwo service
ni da furonte mo kalam
munda afela broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na yo sajje a apo ñu ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sirin hala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sirin office ko do daminto e do message so telephone ko no e biti ko be Gambia dawda biti ko babelo ko ta tano dawda yeta tempo tawo wodama yala bari wa service na kamol da han atanyo le kan kija na bro dan ka ko ayo ko kija
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feol sang alla dimbaya moli ana lakkanun tawul wato bela ani wad sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e be banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nan la fa ko ko ton sur balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone la no la melbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.